So I want to speak about work. You know what? First of all, subscribe. I have no prize for you. If I get a certain amount of subscribers, there will be a prize. I do not know what that prize is. Give me some time to think. Subscribe. We'll figure it out later. Anyways, so I want to speak about One Piece. I mostly want to speak about it because I want to document that I was here, I was around, I was present when we started getting fed weekly heat and insane chapters every single time I'm on my lunch break at work on Wednesdays. I yearn for the sensation of what it's like to be part of a community witnessing a series with a new chapter every week. A while back, a long time ago, I started reading Naruto around chapter 300 or so. I was a part of a community reading spoilers, looking at theories, seeing chapter discussions for basically the next decade until it all ended in chapter 700. This was kind of the time before a lot of YouTube content creators are making consistent Naruto and anime manga content. So I was on the forums, I was on Naruto forums watching this all unfold. I started posting on Naruto forums, I think I was in 7th grade. I probably stayed on that forum until whenever the last chapter was because that was my source of getting it every week. So I was probably there the whole time. Not to say that I was posting consistently, but I was still reading what was going on. And there have been other series that I've been invested in as well, but none really hit like the peaks of seeing a new crazy Naruto chapter. At least that was the case until I got into One Piece. On December 31st, 2020, I decided to download a bunch of One Piece colored manga volumes, hoping that I could finally get into the series. The 4Kids dub had done irreparable damage when I was younger, and I was not able to get into it. The way the Naruto dub was able to get me into Naruto, even though I only watched the dub for a few episodes and immediately switched to subs, One Piece was not able to do that. Anime was a lot harder to get back then, and I had already used the majority of my family's probably 40 gigabyte hard drive on my family computer. I had torrented subbed Naruto and subbed Bleach, so I definitely couldn't fit all of One Piece, which had more episodes at the time. It wouldn't have been able to fit on my family computer. I eventually tried to watch One Piece when the pandemic started, as I saw it had some episodes on Netflix, things were going okay, but it wasn't really hooking me like how I wanted. Then I realized I'm better at staying committed to manga anyways, as I got stuff to do and it's easier for me to read at my own pace rather than being stuck watching 30 minutes an episode or something like that. But once I got involved with the color manga, it was over. I was hooked. I was reading every night before I went to sleep, trying my hardest to get caught up to what was going on. This is back before Wano concluded. A few months passed, I get caught up. Wano was in full force. One Piece quality was evident to me, but I was like, okay, these chapters are cool. I was fine reading spoilers and watching some videos here and there, but I was satisfied taking it slow. Then that thing that happens in chapter 1044, it happened. And things went into overdrive. I just needed more. I needed to see theories, see everything that was happening. I basically stopped reading spoilers completely. I remember before chapter 1044, I didn't read any spoilers and my heart was literally racing while reading the chapter, which is dramatic, I know, but I'm being dead serious. Basically, since then, I have sworn off spoilers and I patiently wait until Wednesday and Thursday and taken the new chapter in all its glory. Since then, every week has been fire. That being said, now that I have some background out the way, we can get into chapter 1083. Because I spent so much of the video talking about other relevant stuff, I'll try and make it quick. My first thoughts coming out of this chapter is that it was clearly a setup chapter. The cliffhanger last week definitely set my expectations high, but I think it'll be worth it in the long run, as I expect the next couple weeks to be classic. People have been waiting on this Reverie reveal for years, so this chapter was good in putting things into perspective for me. This whole idea that all this crazy stuff has been happening off screen while the story has been focusing on the Straw Hats, this really put everything into perspective. Sabo is talking about going into Marriage with his partners, piecing up some admirals real quick, then saying, yeah, we messed with their food too. To me, that's real important. It shows us what the Revolutionary Army has been cooking up. They're trying to mess with the supplies and all the food and all the stuff they got and had them struggle, be like, hey, you just like us too. You gonna have to struggle like us, like I was making everybody else do. Then we got Dragon talking about God's Knights. So, I mean, we have to discuss it. I don't think the silhouette is Shanks. My gut is telling me that that's not true, but if it was true, it would be pretty insane. But regardless, God's Knights are needed to pad out some of the opposing, like those final war forces, because the Navy has looked real shaky these past few years, honestly. Anytime the story shifts to them, it's showing how much they're struggling. We got Marines getting bounties put on them, getting kidnapped, all types of crazy stuff. Plus, we know eventually we're going to get some of the Marines switch up and go against the world government. So to me, God's Knights is setting up some more fighters so the world government has a little bit more oomph to them, a little more swag to their step. So then we see why everybody thought Sabo killed Cobra. The man was basically caught in 4K in that photo. That's like the clearest photo I've ever seen in like a page in the news in One Piece. Sabo's actually kind of cold for basically being like, well, I mean, it kind of sucks that Cobra died, but it is what it is. It really shows that the revolutionaries are really on their stuff. Like, they had a mission and they handled it. They're kind of like, yeah, Cobra was a cool dude, but it was worth it, which makes sense with this whole Flame Emperor, or Entei. For all my Pokemon fans, they know how tight that name is. This whole Entei business, getting other countries to go against the world government, that's going to be very helpful in this whole final war situation and the climax of the story. Then when Sabo starts showing us what happened, we get the usual celestial dragons being terrible. Like, if you call me a pleb and it's time to box. Then we see some of the commanders, they taking care of business, and they're going in to save the slaves. So I think their stock went up in this chapter. It shows that they're really about that action. We had Karasu going up against an admiral, and they didn't really seem stressed like that. I mean, to be fair, it's literally stated that the admirals can't go all out, but still, commanders hanging with admirals, that's big time. We also got a fruit reveal. I guess it makes sense because assuming Karasu had a crow-based fruit, we've never seen a Zoan operate like that. So him having a suit fruit makes sense. I didn't even catch that on my first read, which because some of my scans were maybe not in the highest quality because this whole little TCB OP scans war, but I'm not gonna get into that right now. I still think Lindbergh is low-key gonna betray somebody. I always felt like when we got this Reverie flashback, it would be showing that he was the one that kind of made things go out of whack. It hasn't happened yet, but I feel like it's coming. It's actually interesting that we saw this fight against the admirals and the commanders, but it didn't really seem like either party was like beat up and all out of shape or anything like that. I wonder if we get something next chapter showing that they didn't really go all out and something else kind of disrupted the fight prematurely. We did kind of get an illusion that the admirals are not able to go ham because that's the rules for Mary Joie, even though Fujitoro was acting like he was about to blow up everybody anyway. But I think it shows how good the commanders are rather than how bad the admirals are, because we kind of know what they're about. I think the St. Charlo stuff is going to set up some other stuff for next week as well, and he's going to get involved, and there's going to be a plot line with him and Vivi, because this Cobra stuff is obvious. He's about to go in, basically see Imu and basically get popped. Now, how this all happens is what we don't know. I do think we're about to get some huge reveal here, because otherwise there would be no reason for Oda to hype this up for this long. But what exactly that reveal is, I can't exactly put my finger on right now, but I do think whatever info we get in the next few weeks is going to be like imperative to the story and how we view things in the world of One Piece, and confirms there all type of crazy stuff like that. I feel like we about to get one of them chapters. I also think whatever it is will lead us back to Egghead, and we will have an understanding exactly what world-shaking event is about to happen there that was mentioned a few weeks ago, and more importantly, we're going to find out why it's going to happen. So I'm kind of hyped for the next week, and I'm glad we don't have a break. I don't want to say I'm disappointed with the chapter, but I did kind of overhype myself. But I think in the next coming weeks, it will all be worth it. I'm about to be dodging spoilers like crazy, but I'm excited to see where this one goes.